Car makers are making more and more crossovers or SUV style vehicles. Why? Because you, the buying public, want it. That's what you want. You want high riding hatchbacks. And that's what this is. Honda HRV. Honda's formula is a simple one. 4 cylinders, non-turbo, front-wheel drive, high-riding hatch. It's working for them. The HRV and the CRV are their best-selling vehicles along with Civic. It's a simple range. There's 4 or 5 in the range, and this is the top one, the VTi-LX. And it's around $35,000 plus on roads, which is about $38,400 or thereabouts. The 4-cylinder engine, non-turbo, 105 kilowatts and 172 Newton meters. It puts power to the front wheels through a CVT transmission, so that's the automatic transmission that doesn't have gears as such. We start at the front. LED lighting all around, including the headlights, which are fully automatic with an automatic high beam function. There's little individual cells, which are a little bit hard to see in this light, and a daytime running light. Honda's signature grille. Does that remind you of something? I can't think what that would be. This high-riding hatch has a coupe profile, so it doesn't have any back door handles because it's a coupe. But is it? Just up here is a concealed rear door handle. And of course it's got 17-inch alloy wheels with low-profile tyres. These plastic strips are a nod to the SUV style vehicle that this is. Normally on a car that goes off-road, these will be sacrifice pieces that you could take off when they get scratched out bush. But of course, that's not going to happen. With this car, it's front-wheel drive only. You're not going anywhere off-road. Around the back, there's more LED lights. I think they look pretty special. Though I'm not all that fussed on this bit that dips down here. There's just something slightly awkward about that. It's a manual rear hatch with an electric button in the back and a nice low load lip. The best thing about this is under the floor there's a proper spare. Well, it's a space saver, but nonetheless. And instead of one of those difficult to use pull out curtainy luggage cover things, Honda just have this. You just stick that over the top, and this floor is nice and low. You'll see the seats go down 60-40, and I've currently got that in a very special position. Inside, Honda has magic seats, and it's by far this car's best feature. It can tumble back or forward or completely flat for a flat floor. And you'll notice that under the seats there is space to store stuff. In the back there's a little bottle holder and another power outlet. The thing that really annoys me is that once you turn the infotainment system on, it won't do anything until you press. The dashboard is clearly laid out. I had a problem the other day. My tyre was deflating and I got a warning in the middle of the screen and on the center screen. I couldn't just go in and cancel it once I'd put air in the tyre. I had to actually go into a different menu in here by scrolling through the system. It was so annoying. This is where you set up the smart entries, which is the system whereby you look for a little rubber button on the outside and you can get into the car and start it without the key. It can just stay in your pocket or in your bag. Down below is an electrostatic system, so this operates kind of the same way that your touch phone does. There's clearly laid out buttons on the steering wheel for cruise control and media control. There's paddle shifters for the CVT and controls for your lights. Leave it in this position and the lights at the front are fully automatic. They come on at dusk and they put the high beam on. Coming around the side, this is a really clever feature. Press that, it turns this camera on, which is outside in that mirror, and displays here on the screen. The rest of the car is very well laid out. There's a spot here that you can rest your phone if it's plugged in, but the USBs are down here. There's a pad there for your phone as well, but every time I put my phone in there, I leave it there by accident. The center console looks pretty neat. but as you can see, it's incredibly shiny. The reason they've made it this concave shape is if it was flat, that would shine straight into your eyes of an afternoon. There's an electric parking brake and the brake hold feature. In traffic, you can put your foot on the brake, then take it off, and it just stays there. It also has clever cup holders. This is quite deep, I can fit my whole hand in. But if you press this button, the little floor comes up and this little thing comes out. You can put a cup in there instead of a bottle. So it's a cup and a bottle holder. And there's two of them. There are also clever things like city automated braking. If the car thinks you're going to have an accident in town, it will brake for you. Although this CVT has no gears as such, under extreme acceleration, it will actually simulate gears as it did just then, and it sounds like it's changing gears. It's not really, but it just sounds like it is. HRV has McPherson struts at the front end and a torsion beer ream end. You can see I've just indicated left and it's come up on the screen. Rather than conventional blind spot monitoring, Honda's gone for a single camera, but it's only on that side, so you've still got to look over your side to make sure there's no one coming. The cabin is reasonably quiet even at highway speeds, but the ride is absolutely sensational. It is brilliant. When I first got into this car, I wasn't all that fussed. I'm not in love with the outside. And the cabin feels nice and the seats are comfortable and there's lots of things like seat heating and all of the good stuff, but it just didn't grab me. And then I drove it. And I couldn't believe how good this little Honda was on the road. The steering is so light, the engine is so willing, it's so nimble, it is so roomy and so comfortable. And I normally wouldn't want to do a long trip in a small car. Normally that would be absolutely painful. But I would love to do a long trip in an HRV. Everything is beautifully made. There's no really horrible hard surfaces. Even the doors are soft and padded. It feels like it's covered in beautiful, luxurious leather. It's not, of course, it's just man-made, but if you can't tell the difference, what difference does it make? HRV will see most duties as a city car, as most city cars do. So it'll be doing lots of low-speed work. It doesn't have fancy things like automated parking, but automated parking is one of those features no one is ever going to use. If you can't park a car, you shouldn't be driving. The dual zone climate control is absolutely brilliant. It works really well, and it's controlled by that electrostatic panel that works like your phone that I showed you earlier. But a lot of Honda's cleverness is concealed. For example, the vents. They have different rates of flow. The outer vents, where you're going to get the most of the shine from the sun, have the most power. Then the next vents along are slightly less power, and the center ones least power of all. That's really thoughtful. So you add thoughtful touches like that to the Magic Seats and Apple CarPlay, and it really is a brilliant package. The ergonomics are very, very good. All of the controls are easy to get at. More importantly, I can see absolutely everything clearly without having to crane my neck. That's Honda's HRV. I've given it 8.5 out of 10. It is brilliant. It's brilliantly made, it drives beautifully, it handles beautifully, it's relatively economical, and those Magic Seats are sensational. As always, hit just there to subscribe.